climb's getting steeper, but the views just keep getting better and better.
I can't believe how much food we ordered and it just cost $9.
Are you sure this is the right way?
This is what the map says. You're just supposed to keep going up and up.
Wow, can you believe this incredible view? It's not too shabby for just an average lunch on a Friday afternoon.
We'll be honest, the only reason we came to Albania in the first place was to do a 9-day hike through the mountains. But what we found here was so incredible that we ended up staying for 3 whole months.
So over those 3 months, we've traveled from the very north of Albania all the way down to the south. We spent a couple weeks climbing some of the most beautiful mountains we've ever seen. We've experienced all the buzz of Tirana, which is Albania's up-and-coming capital city.
We've been to beautiful historic towns, had more than a few farmhouse meals, and we ended our trip right here on the spectacular Albanian Riviera.
What's most amazing is that just a few months ago, we really had no idea what Albania had to offer. It's a country that's really not on the tourist map yet. And if you're anything like us, you might be wondering what you'd find here. What is there to see and do in Albania? Is it safe? Is it easy to get around? So in this video, we're going to be answering all of those questions and many more. But before we get into it, a big hello to all you nomads and adventurers from the Albanian Riviera. So if you're new around here, I'm Stephanie, this is Gillian behind the wheel. We quit work to travel full-time, and we're here to bring a little more adventure into your life.
We're in our last few days in Albania before heading off to our next destination, so it's the perfect time to reflect on our time here. We came to Albania because we wanted to be more adventurous travelers. During the past couple years, we've stuck to pretty well-known destinations like Italy and Greece. So what that really means is that we haven't strayed too far from the tourist map, until now. So like we said, we came to Albania to do a hike, but not just any hike. This is a challenging trek through Albania, Kosovo, and Montenegro called the Peaks of the Balkans. It had been on our bucket list for a couple years, and we were finally ready to tackle it. The hike was everything that we hoped it would be. We spent our days trekking from one beautiful landscape to another. We stayed in rustic lodges, sometimes very rustic, and we got our first taste of traditional Albanian food. Well, it's a beautiful morning and we've managed to catch a ride up the road to where our trek's going to begin. And as we pick our way to the top of the mountain pass, the climb's getting steeper, but the views just keep getting better and better.
We did it! We made it! We're finally at the end of today's hike, and that means that we're also at the end of our whole trek through the peaks of the Balkans. At this point, we really weren't sure what to do next. So the hike is over. Here we are in Albania. How do we make the most of this destination that we really don't know that much about? So our next stop was the capital city, Tirana, and this was a lot more lively than we were expecting. After a couple of weeks of just that peace and quiet in the mountains, we were almost overwhelmed with what we found in Tirana.
We heard that Tirana is a city on the move, but this is a whole other level. We can't believe the traffic or the people or the noise.
So Tirana was our first real experience with how inexpensive Albania can be compared to Western Europe or North America. It is a city just filled with restaurants, and we could afford to eat out every single day, even twice a day.
Dining out seems to be a really big part of the lifestyle here. So there are restaurants and cafes on just about every corner. It's a really dynamic restaurant scene. In fact, we kept finding brand new restaurants that hadn't even made it onto Google Maps yet.
A great example of how affordable Tirana can be was our apartment. So we had a beautifully designed, very spacious 1-bedroom. It was in a central location. By local standards, our apartment would be considered outrageously expensive. But to us coming from North America, it was an amazing bargain at just over $1,100 US. And if you want to see all of our costs for our month in Tirana, we've got a whole video on that.
Tirana was great for enjoying the city buzz, checking out the enormous Skanderbeg Square, and some of the very unique attractions like a former bunker that's now a museum which documents Albania's communist past. But after a whole month in the city, we were itching to get back to the countryside. So after doing some research, we found a farm down in central Albania and we were really excited to visit. The only challenge was, how would we get there? Getting around in Albania is not that easy. There's no train system, there are buses, but we couldn't take those because we're traveling with our 2 dogs. So we bit the bullet and we rented a car for the whole month. Now, we'd heard a lot of mixed reviews about driving in Albania. And it is true, the roads aren't always in the best condition and the drivers can be a little impatient. Oh man, this is quite a merge. Just keep crawling forward, Albanian style. Thank you. I'll just drive with my hand
watch out, watch out.
Drive with my hand out the window. Oh, okay, I'm going
Elbasan.
for Elbasan. Okay. Woo, we did it. Yes. But honestly, if you're a confident driver and you don't mind handling a lot of steep hills, you'll be just fine. Are you sure this is the right way? It is really steep in cobblestone.
Yeah, this is what the map says. You're just supposed to keep going up and up.
There's someone trying to pass me. I can't believe it.
Oh my God. We had a magical week at the farmhouse. Beautiful scenery, amazing food, and since it's also a winery, we had some great wine.
Let's have a taste. It's just a fresh, easy drinking wine. I could get used to this.
But what we noticed at the farmhouse and really everywhere we went is that English is not widely spoken. So young people might speak some English, but the older generation is far more likely to speak Italian as their second language. But despite the language barrier, we always managed just fine using a combination of Google Translate and some hand gestures. So generally we found that the locals seemed a little bit reserved at first, but once we broke the ice with a few words of Albanian, we always got a warm welcome. Oh, thank you. Wow. Oh, one more meatball for sharing. Thank you.
By this point in our journey, we were trying to decide where to go next. November was around the corner. Europe was getting cold and rainy. Since we were already in Albania, we thought, why not head to the warmest and sunniest place we can find, the city of Saranda on the Albanian Riviera. We were a little worried about heading to a resort town in the off-season. The tourists are gone, the beaches are empty, the restaurants are mostly closed. Would spending a month here be a huge mistake? Well, it turned out to be a great decision. First of all, our apartment was amazing. It was beautifully designed, and best of all, it had an incredible view.
Here we go. Wow, this view is even more incredible than I thought it would be. It's totally worth every penny. Of course, it wasn't just about the apartment. Saranda is a great jumping off point to explore the rest of the region. We visited the historic town of Gjirokastra, which is like a fairy tale city hidden in the mountains. So we've come to this little spot to have a coffee and just soak in all the ambiance. This city is unbelievable. It's just like a little fairy tale that's been lost in time. And what's amazing is that this is such a spectacular destination, but we'd honestly never heard of it until we got to Albania. It just goes to show that there are so many more places in the world to discover than those top 20 tourist destinations that everyone goes to. We checked out the ruins of the Roman city of Butrint, which was in a lovely national park. And then we had weeks of just perfect weather to spend hiking along the gorgeous coastline. Our 3 months in Albania is finally coming to an end, and we honestly can't believe how much we got to experience. We had the mountains and the sea, we had delicious farmhouse meals, and all that international dining in Tirana. We explored ancient ruins and just beautiful historic cities, and we had all of this for an amazingly low cost. And the entire time, we felt very safe and very comfortable everywhere we went.
Of course, we've had to be very open-minded. Some of the rustic experiences were pretty rustic. Not everyone speaks English. Not all your familiar brands are going to be available here. And it's not that easy to get in and out of the country. Not every airline flies to Albania.
But if you do plan to come to Albania, definitely plan to stay for a while because there's so much to experience here. So if you're ready for a closer look at what Albania has to offer, you should join us for our entire adventure throughout the whole country. Just click here to watch the whole series.